Welcome to Screw the Commute, the entrepreneurial podcast dedicated to getting you out of the car and into the money. With your host, lifelong entrepreneur and multimillionaire, Tom Antion.
Hey everybody, it's Tom here with episode 731 of Screw the Commute podcast. Today, I want you to set aside a half hour this weekend. And it could be the most profitable half hour you've ever spent. I'll tell you about that in a minute. Hope you didn't miss episode 730. That was how to build an ebook empire. Folks, when you got 97% profits, you got to mess up really bad not to make money. So check that out at episode 730. Anytime you want to get to a back episode, you go to screwthecommute.com/, and then the episode number, that was 730 for how to build an ebook empire. All right, follow me on TikTok at Digital Multimillionaire and pick up a copy of our automation ebook. You'll really thank me for this because this will save you hundreds of hours and allow you to spend time with customers and making products and services so you make money. That's where the money is. I don't want you fighting with your computer. So grab your copy at screwthecommute.com/automate free. And while you're at it, pick up a copy of our podcast app at screwthecommute.com/app. That's APP. And put us on your cell phone and tablet and take us with you on the road. And guess what? The Android version is coming pretty soon. We'll let you know when it comes out. All right, let's get to the main event. So I want you to take a half hour this weekend. You can take more if you want. I love to work on my business. But you'll need at least 30 minutes to do what I tell you. So what's this all about? Well, I want to give you the ability to take a hard look at your website, or give you the ability to know what you need and don't need on your website if you hadn't had one built yet. Most people depend on someone else to build their website. Now, I think that's a mistake, but I know many people do it. They have someone else that claims, with quotation marks around it, to be able to make a website and charges them a lot of money to get something up on the web. Now, the big problem I've seen over 29 years that I've been selling online and 25 years I've been teaching online marketing is that the person you've contracted with to make your website, they may be able to make the site that looks nice. That's not always the case either. I've seen some horrendous looking websites that cost a lot of money. But let's say it looks nice. That doesn't mean the person who made it knows the things that are needed to make the website successful. Now, I often say that most web designers are out-of-work graphic artists. They care more about the look than the functionality of the site. Now, don't get me wrong. I want the site to look professional enough to represent you well, but if it's never found or has a poor sales process or has behind-the-scenes security vulnerabilities, in other words, it can be hacked because you or your so-called web designer don't know how to protect the site. I mean, just yesterday, a very well-known author told me they hadn't checked their site since 2019. And major sections were missing, and they wanted to know what to do. Now, I didn't say this to them, but I thought it. I thought, here's what you do. Quit writing for a while and pay some damn attention to your business. I get so sick of people that think they are in business when they're really just doing stuff they like and depending on others who may or may not be competent to actually run the business. And a big part of most businesses, of course, is their website. The owner of the site, that's you, doesn't have to know how to fix every kind of problem that arises on a website. However, in my not so humble opinion, it's negligent if you refuse to pay attention to the things necessary to make the site sell you and to keep it from getting hacked. And what if the hosting service goes down? Do you have proper backups in place away from the hosting service? Most hosting services make a stupid argument to get your business, and if you fall for it after listening to this episode, it's your fault. They brag about making backups of your site. This is one of the dumbest things I hear all the time with regard to web hosting. Well, if their hosting service gets hacked or goes down, how are you going to get the backup? I learned this early on when I didn't have an off-site backup of Antion.com. The hosting service had a backup, but they got hacked, and it took them 10 days to find it and restore my site. That was enormous amounts of money for me. I could have been back in business in a matter of hours had I had my own backup off-site. That's the kind of things that you need to know about. That's just one of the things you need to know about. All right, so what's all this stuff about taking a half hour this weekend? Well, I've got 2 free downloads written by a 20-year colleague of mine, Christina Hills. Never heard a bad word about her. Everybody loves her. She puts out great quality stuff. She has my full endorsement, which you don't hear that very often from me. Now, one of the documents, the downloads, is called Successful Website Checklist. So you could take a few minutes, go through the checklist and say, oh, does my site have that or doesn't it have that? Just check off the stuff and you'll get an evaluation of what your site needs to add or to take away or whatever. And then the other is the roadmap to website success. It goes way more into the psychology and the different pages you need and all that stuff. It'll take you about 20 minutes to read both of them. The second one is only 10 pages, all right? But they're very concise, and you can go through them quickly and get a good picture of what you should or shouldn't be doing on your website. So anyway, the other 10 minutes, let's say you take 20 minutes to read them both. The other 10 minutes or more, if you want, is to evaluate your site and see if it has what she's talking about. If it does, great. But I can tell you, I've critiqued over 10,000 websites in my career, and I can't think of one of them that didn't have some type of serious flaw, whether it was keyword placement or security vulnerabilities, all kinds of stuff, or poor psychological sales process and navigation problems, just all kinds of things. So when you find these flaws, you have 2 choices. Learn to fix them yourself, which is very easy nowadays, or find a competent person to fix the flaw or flaws. Now this is where it gets a little tougher, right? If you go to your original web person to fix it, you got to ask yourself, if they knew about this problem and how to fix it, why did they let it be on my site in the first place? See, people fall in love just if a web designer happens to have a nice personality, which I'm not saying that's a high percentage, but if they happen to be nice and you like them and they're responsive to you, I'm sorry to tell you, it does not mean that they know what they're doing. I always tell people, if your web person was so great at making websites that sell, why would they be working for you? They would just make their own websites and make a fortune instead of dealing with you. I mean, it's just crazy to think that service person knows what they need to know to make you successful. So you got to be very careful with that. So these 2 documents will empower you to know what to look for in your site and what to do about it. So you can download them at screwthecommute.com/great-website, and the other one at screwthecommute.com/roadmap. These will be in the show notes, screwthecommute.com/great-website and screwthecommute.com/roadmap. So take the time today or this weekend, and it could be the most profitable half hour you've ever spent on your business, all right, or at least in a long time. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. screwthecommute.com/great-website and screwthecommute.com/roadmap. I'll catch you all in the next episode. See you later.